is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are La Force. We are Florida.
One, two. When you get that dramatic music with the big drums, you know the pitching matchup is something special. The Marlins and the Mets finish off a weekend series. The Mets have won the first two, and the Marlins have had the lead late in both of those games. On a Sunday, a lot of folks and a lot of dogs. Not that guy. Not that guy. Bark at the Park, a Jose Harvey start. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Preston Wilson. This is a cool day to be at the ballpark. It's a fun day with Bark at the Park. It's a great rivalry, Marlins and Mets, and you've got the aces out there, Jose and Harvey.
Well, who doesn't love dogs? I mean, I've been a dog owner all my life. I love dogs. So you get that at the ballpark, and you get to see two of the young, exciting premier pitchers in this league.
Let's start with Jose. For the Marlins, he's been absolutely terrific. He has won 7 consecutive starts. That's one shy of the club record.
Well, he's been so good lately, getting ahead, throwing strikes, pounding the strike zone, not walking batters, and not giving up a whole lot early. He's been the Jose Fernandez that we saw when he first came into the league.
Jose faced the Mets in New York early this season and was dazzling. He's refined himself a little bit over the last 2 months, getting some of those early outs and piling up the strikeouts late in the start.
Well, the strikeouts are coming through the process. He's focusing on getting outs, and he's doing that by throwing his fastball a lot early. And how does that help him get strikeouts late? Well, now he has something to fool those batters with second, third time through the lineup.
Tell me about Matt Harvey. His numbers don't match his pedigree or his resume. 4-7 and 5.37 ERA. His last start, he was very good. 7 shutout innings against the White Sox. What's up?
It must be noted that he did throw the most innings of any pitcher following the year of their Tommy John surgery. So it's just taken him a little while to catch up. At times the velocity was there, but now the command is coming, and it showed in his last outing where he went 7 innings, gave up no runs.
Marlins need a win to have a winning homestand. When we get back, they're going to have to take out the bottom of the Mets lineup. Some of these guys are just killing the fish. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine, examine that when we return. is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. In Miami, Jose Fernandez goes after his 8th consecutive win in 8 starts. It would tie a club record. Let's go out to center field. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini. The Mets are getting offense in an unexpected spot, aren't they, guys?
Yeah, no doubt about that. The Mets hitting home runs like they did in the first game of the series. Yesterday, they just plain out hit the Marlins, and it's been the bottom of the lineup that's doing most of the damage for New York. Not big names. Cespedes has been out now for the 2nd straight game today.
Yeah, the 6 through 9 hitters for the Mets have been absolutely on fire in the first 2 games of this series. James Loney comes in with a 2-run home run on a first pitch fastball. Rivera goes deep. We're talking about a team that leads the National League in home runs. They're getting home runs from everywhere up and down the order. And then again, Loney last night with an RBI single to put the Mets back on top. I mean, the 6 through 9 hitters have really done damage in the late innings of these games, both 7th and 8th innings of the first night game, and then last night 8th and 9th innings.
And Fordo had that sack, not normally hitting in the 7th spot, but he did in the ball game yesterday. As you see that 6 through 9 numbers, 13 for 33 with 10 RBIs. For a Met club that started at 230 in this series, they've had so many hits, they brought their team average of 4 points in 2 games.
It's 25 hits in 2 games will do it for you.
It'll help the old average. We'll see if Jose can contain New York. It's Matt Harvey trying to keep the Marlins quiet. And the Dogs are here too on Bark at the Park Day. It's a good one for a Sunday afternoon. Glad you're with us. We'll have the ball game coming up.
Miami Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you, drive sober or get pulled over. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Good Sunday crowd in here. Jose Fernandez and the Fish colliding with the Mets. Mets looking for a sweep. Marlins trying to salvage this Sunday game. Mets lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Here come the Amazons. Alejandro De Aza's leading off. Asdrubal Cabrera batting second. Curtis Granderson moves from the leadoff spot down to the third spot. Neil Walker fourth. Michael Conforto fifth. James Loney, who has turned himself into quite the weapon, batting sixth. Wilmer Flores seventh. Rene Rivera eighth. And Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, is in the ninth.
Jose Fernandez 8-2. What those numbers don't tell you is that he's won 7 consecutive starts with an ERA of 1.60. And in this ballpark, he's 22-1 in 32 starts with a .59 ERA. So all of those numbers added up. The Marlins and the Mets get ready to finish it off. Alejandro De Aza, one of those guys that down near the bottom of the order has snuck up and bitten the Marlins. In the first 2 games of this series, the Marlins have had leads in both games evaporate in the late innings. Jose, fastball, actually a rather pedestrian 89 miles an hour just to get things going. He's out in front of De Aza. Asdrubal Cabrera, Curtis Granderson will follow for the Mets. Hernandez, last time out, was matched with another ace, Garrett Cole of the Pirates, and beat the Pirates and Cole by a score of 3-1. That's a strike. That's Mike Estabrook calling balls and strikes. Dana DeMuth, Clint Fagan, Greg Gibson on the bases.
Well, that ball looked like it might have got the edge, but I'll tell you what, it might have possibly been off too. But if Jose Fernandez, yep, that ball's off. If Jose Fernandez is going to get that pitch, it's going to be a long day for these Marlin batters.
That one's out, and the count evens at 2-2.
That pitch wasn't much worse than the other one, just a little further out. But if he's going to get pitch number 3 today, it's going to be a long day for the Metros.
Back foot breaking ball, strike 3. And Jose's got his first strikeout. His strikeout rate is the best in all of baseball.
Oh, after you get a few fastballs on that outer corner, then you get what appears to be a fastball coming in and it just dive bombs on you. That back foot slider, when he gets it and he pairs it with the fastball away in a good spot, it's devastating.
Asdrubal Cabrera now the Mets lineup on a Sunday. A lot of lineups around baseball have got some names that you don't quite expect. But for the Mets, Yoenis Cespedes still has a hip issue, possibly able to pinch hit. That's the word. And Juan Lagares, whose catch really turned the game around yesterday, and as a result of that catch has a sore thumb. He is listed as day-to-day for Terry Collins, who's looking at his lineup card right there. Jose with a count of 1-1 to Cabrera.
Now that Lagares play was phenomenal. He laid out flat, and really his thumb took the brunt of the initial impact because he was totally parallel to the ground when he extended, and he landed glove first, so there was a lot of impact going on that glove and thumb area.
Good fastball fouled back. This is what you'd expect when 2 aces collide. Both first-round draft picks. Fernandez in the 2011 draft, he was 14th overall. Harvey in the 2010 draft out of the University of North Carolina, he was 7th overall. That was a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, even though Syndergaard may be stealing all the headlines, as far as mentality and the face of the franchise is still Matt Harvey and Jose Fernandez. Both of those guys are still alpha dogs in their pack.
On the ground, Dietrich has it, fires to first in time. Fernandez starts his day with a strikeout and a ground out. The defense behind Jose. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Christian Yelich, Marcelo Zuna, Ichiro getting a start in right. Giancarlo Stanton a day off. Justin Bour, Martin Prado on the corners, Derek Dietrich, Adeiny Echeverria up the middle, and JT Realmuto behind the plates. And here is Curtis Granderson, who was in the 3 spot for the very first time as a Met. As a Yankee, he was in the 3 spot, and the last time was late September in 2013. 1 for 8 in the series is Granderson. Terry Collins and the Mets now at 31-23. They have played well these first 2 games of the series. Granderson into right center. There's nobody there. It's going to land and roll onto the track. Ozuna cuts it off. Granderson with a double. And the Mets have a runner in scoring position with 2 down.
Granderson does a good job. This is a changeup that he picks on. Doesn't quite get down. He stays on it. Drives it into the gap. When you can run like Granderson, there's no question whether it's going to be 2. The question is whether it's going to get cut off before it turns into 3 bases. And good job by Ozuna stopping that ball before it got to the wall, because Granderson with his speed would have turned that into a triple.
Neil Walker now switch hitting second baseman, and he takes outside. Walker has seen and had some success against Jose. He's got a couple of hits. There are only 2 Mets in uniform who have more than 1 hit in their career against Jose, and neither of them were Mets last year, and that's Walker and James Loney. And one of the reasons why is Jose starts against the Mets. He hasn't had a lot of them. This is only his 6th start against the Mets, and only his 2nd since the 2013 season. And he's fallen behind 3-0 now to Walker. Yeah, he made 4 starts in 2013, his rookie year, and then not another till early in this season. Three and 1. Granderson the runner at second. Michael Conforto's on deck.
I know it's early, but Jose Fernandez has to be conscious that even though it's his 3-1 count, you got first base open, and Neil Walker, you got to keep him in the ballpark.
Breaking ball strike. Walker peeled away, thought it was out, and he was right.
That's a tremendous help, because right there, it's really what I mentioned. Jose doesn't want to give in right here. He does not want to let the long ball come into play. So on a 3-1 count, he throws a breaking ball.
Nice quiet frame job by JT Realmuto. 3-2 coming. Walker successful in this series. A couple walks, a couple runs, a couple hits. That has been so important for the Mets offense with his 13 home runs. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Walker strikes out. Granderson left at second. And Jose Fernandez gunning for his 8th straight win in 8 starts. Scoreless in the first. Colorful series here in Miami as Ichiro comes to the plate. Miami's lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Oh, and here come the fish. Ichiro batting first, Prado second, Christian Yelich third, Marcelo Ozuna is in the 4-hole, Justin Bour fifth, Dietrich sixth, Realmuto seventh, Adeiny Echeverria's eighth, and Jose Fernandez batting ninth.
Matt Harvey, fastball misses out. Ichiro Getting the start, Martin Prado and Christian Yelich. And the numbers for Harvey. Ichiro lines one into right field, and that is right at Granderson. Think about Ichiro's last 2 at-bats. He hit that searing liner into left center that Lagares snared, that essentially turned the game around yesterday, and that bullet to right to open up this Sunday. All right, defensively, Southwest Airlines sets up the Mets. Michael Conforto, Alejandro De Aza, Curtis Granderson, James Loney, and Wilmer Flores both have had big series on the corners. Neil Walker has Drupal Cabrera up the middle, and Rene Rivera, who homered on Friday, is behind the plate. And here is Martin Prado. And Harvey with a fastball for a strike. Prado yesterday banged his first homer of the season. Shot to left. His average sits at 309. It's come down from mid-May when he was near the top of the National League in average, chasing former Met Daniel Murphy. Chopper to the left of Flores, and he gets him.
Yeah, I think Prado was one of those guys that, because of the injuries to Yelich and Stanton, it just wasn't possible for him to be spared a day off. And I think it started to catch up with him a little bit, started getting a little bit fatigued, started getting frustrated a little bit. Hopefully now they'll be able to spare him a little bit, because with the right amount of rest, and he doesn't need much, but he needs some at this stage of his career, he's going to produce. Just can't keep him out there 15, 20 days in a row.
Now Christian Yelich. Yelich 12 at bats against Harvey. He's 2 for 12. Harvey has struck him out 4 times. The Marlins don't have gaudy numbers against the Dark Knight, which is not that much of a surprise. I mean, Harvey against the Marlins in 7 starts has an ERA in the mid-3s. He's 2-2 with a 3.48 ERA. One and 2. Some terrific at bats for Yelich in the series. He's 4 for 8 with an RBI. Yelich drove in a run in the 9th inning last night. Breaking ball in, and had a couple of hits on Friday night. The Marlins are hopeful they can rewrite the script that the Mets have followed in the first 2 games of the series, and that is come from behind, get hits from the bottom of their order, and rough up Miami's bullpen. Yelich hits a fly ball out to left. That would be Michael Conforto out there. Matt Harvey, Jose Fernandez, bark at the park. Heads to the second, scoreless.
es presentado en español vía SAP por West Kendall Toyota.
We will be making the tour of the upper deck, which is where all the hounds and pooches are. Jose Fernandez, Michael Conforto, and a change-up, a swing and a miss. James Loney, Wilmer Flores will follow in the second. Fernandez punched out 2, gave up a double to Curtis Granderson. Conforto drove in 2 runs late in the ball game. Both of those tied the game. First one, the sacrifice fly in the 6th. And an RBI single in the 8th. Fernandez now with the count at 2-1. Conforto, though, overall still scuffling. Trying to find that swing. We saw him really contribute in 174 at-bats last year when he slugged over 500. And then got into the postseason and ended up hitting 2 home runs in the World Series. And 3 total in the postseason. Pulls that one wide of first. And then, of course, you've got Loney and Flores up this inning. And those aren't necessarily guys, when you plot your course against the lineup, that you say, don't let James Loney and Wilmer Flores beat you. And they have done that in 2 games. And Conforto's caught looking. Jose with his 3rd strikeout already.
Very happy to see him go back to the fastball there. And I was just thinking, I don't want him to get too comfortable throwing all these 3-2 breaking balls, especially when there's nobody on. When there's somebody in scoring position with a base open, I got no problem with that. But this early in the game, first time through the lineup, I like the fact that he's going back to the fastball more often.
So here is Loney, 5 hits in 2 ball games, and it seems like all of them have done damage. He's driven in 3, he's homered, and he's doubled. And the Mets have to be quite pleased that Loney's been able to step in the absence of Duda, who has that back issue. Loney drives it left field, hits it pretty well, but Yelich is there and makes the catch. So 2 outs, group tickets. How about that? Enjoy a personalized experience and spend quality time with your guests at an affordable cost at Marlins Park. Look at all the different. Hey, Preston, Awareness Night, anniversary, which one are you choosing there?
Again, I'm choosing Awareness Night, and it's not changing because I want people in South Florida to be aware of using their turn signal. There's not enough of that here.
It is a valiant cause for you there, Preston. Chopper wide of 3rd. And Wilmer Flores will trot back. Flores, just like Loney, has 5 hits in 2 games. Martin Prado making friends over there. Also a couple of walks. Flores has been on base an awful lot. He had 3 hits yesterday and a walk. Pitch down low. And of course, Flores is getting the start at 3rd base because David Wright a few days ago was put on the shelf with a neck issue and will be out for at least 2 months, it sounds like.
And I said at the beginning of the series that I thought this is a series that the Marlins have to really try to grab because there is no Duda, there is no Wright. But you have to give this Mets lineup a lot of credit for just spreading the wealth up and down that lineup, especially down in that lineup. Guys have done the job. Guys have gotten big hits. They've gotten contributions from people that came into this series hitting under 200.
And Don Mattingly has been able to get some pretty good starts. Tom Kohler went 6 innings, gave up 3 runs, but the Mets added on to the bullpen late. Fastball, no swing. Justin Nicolino gave up 2 runs in 5 1/3. And then the Marlins bullpen promptly gave up 4 runs from the 8th inning on in a 6-4 loss.
No, and give credit to Terry Collins. He had a meeting and challenged his guys. He said, look, we're still a good ball club. Even though our captain's out, David Wright's down, we can still get everyone to contribute. And they have. They've stepped up and contributed up and down that lineup.
Little pop shallow left. Echeverria squares up, calls it, and has it. And Jose Fernandez looks sharp. Mets and Marlins are scoreless in Miami. It's an honor that this telecast is being broadcast on AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the U.S. Armed Forces serving around the world on land, on ships, at sea. Welcome. It's Bark at the Park Day here in Miami at Marlins Park. Always a very popular promotion. They had the pet parade, so to speak, on the warning track about an hour, hour and a half before first pitch. And what a matchup you've got on the mound here. Jose Fernandez and Matt Harvey. Harvey gets Marcell Ozuna, Justin Bour, and Derek Dietrich. And Ozuna takes a fastball, then runs up.
Harvey seems to be throwing a little bit harder than Jose right now. But Jose looks like he's got really good command, which I don't mind trading that velocity for a little command.
Ozuna homered on Friday night. That was against Noah Syndergaard. Also had a key sacrifice fly. An 0 for yesterday. And he's in the cleanup spot. There's a look at Syndergaard. The buddies around him. Jacob deGrom, Steven Matz. Up the middle, and Cabrera gets the out at first. What's your scouting report on Matt Harvey? It's brought to you by Auto Nation.
Well, he throws hard. High 90s four-seamer. Not himself, though. 7.08 ERA in his last 4 starts, even though the last one was a good one. He went 7 innings, didn't give up anything, and he is deeply Carolina blue. Went to the University of North Carolina. He is a Tar Heel, and he'll let you know about it.
Rick Porcello was in that rotation at North Carolina. One recruit that they didn't sign that ended up signing after the draft would have made a pretty good rotation in the ACC. Madison Bumgarner.
Definitely. Our guy in the truck, Marcus Mazik, he's a Tar Heel as well. You know, he all things Carolina. He even named his dog Carolina. I had to mention that since it's Bark in the Park today.
He slid that right in there. Nice. Worked it in. You're getting this. Bohr with the count 1-1. He has homered against Harvey. And the Marlins are hopeful that Ozuna and Bohr and Dietrich can add some pop. And they really have had to in the absence of Giancarlo Stanton over the last 3 weeks. Stanton getting a day off. Still mired in just an awful slump. His numbers against Harvey not good as well. He's 1 for 13 in his career against Harvey, and we've seen the frustration boil over for Stanton. 36 strikeouts his last 21 games. 2-2. But you take that as a positive, don't you? You take the fact that he's engaged and angry and frustrated.
At this point, when you're trying to come back from a slump, let's just call it a slump, you have to remain positive. You have to understand that baseball is such a long season. If you dwell on the negatives, it'll roll over on you. It'll keep going. So he had some good at-bats. He hit the ball hard twice yesterday against Bartolo Colon. He also had some at-bats go against him. He had 2 at-bats against Syndergaard where there were terrible calls on him. And taking a strike against you when you're in an at-bat against Syndergaard is pretty much taking the at-bat. And then yesterday he had a pretty tough 2 at-bats with some tough calls.
Down goes Bohr. Good pitch by Harvey. First strikeout from Harvey.
This is a patented slider down and in after some good fastballs away. Great spot. You're not going to hit that pitch.
Now Derek Dietrich, 1 for 7 in this series. Dietrich, of course, hitting the wrist in that Pirate series, the left wrist. And it looked like at the moment of impact and the moments afterwards that he was seriously hurt. He said his whole hand went numb. And he didn't go down to first. He went right to the clubhouse and came out of the ball game.
Well, here, take a look at this thing. This is direct impact. There's no glancing blow here. That ball hit. And just look at his arm. It's so square. He knew right away that did not feel right. One thing to notice today is there's a tremendous pace with these 2 starting pitchers. Both of them are just throwing the ball, getting on the mound, and ready to go again. Not a lot of time in between pitches. These are 2 aggressive guys. Look at, they're just waiting on the batter.
Fastball foul back. Harvey's been living at 95 with his fastball. And his 1-2 to Derek Dietrich, who steps out. That one pulled foul. Matt Harvey last year, remember near the end of the season, the Mets, his agent, Harvey, were all trying to figure out innings limit. Should he be shut down? Should he be skipped a few times and stretched out? He ended up throwing about 190 innings in the regular season and then went on to make 4 starts in the postseason. He won his start against the Dodgers in the division series. Won his start against the Cubs in the National League Championship Series. And 2 no decisions against the Royals in the World Series. Dietrich lines it into right center field. Not hit that hard. Around first, he'll hold there. As De Aza got there quickly. A 2-out single. First hit for Miami.
Ball's up in the zone. Dietrich strong enough to throw that ball out there into the outfield. Harvey tried to challenge him up. Didn't quite get it by him. Good job by Dietrich. it's so, these two pitchers are so similar to me, especially when they're going well. They both have really good fastballs, live fastballs with movement. They both have devastating sliders that they can put guys away with. They both have that bulldog mentality, and right now, if they got 2 outs and nobody on, they're coming after you. They're going to make you hit to get on.
JT Realmuto got the high pants and the high socks going. Little old school look. Harvey falls behind 2-0. Realmuto did not start in game 1 of the series. Did come in late. He's 2 for 3, 2 walks, a double, and a stolen base so far. In what is a weekend series, Marlins and Mets. The Marlins faced the Mets up in New York, and Miami won 2 of 3 up there. The Mets have won the first 2 down here. In your division in Major League Baseball, you play your division foes 3 times at your place and 3 times on the road. Total of 19 games between National League East opponents. See Miami 4 back of the Nationals. The Mets are within a game.
Well, that's why it's imperative to play well against your division, because that's the bulk of your schedule. Those are the guys that you're going to see. Those are the guys that you have to climb over to win your division. And there is Jose Fernandez and Barry Bonds here again.
Realmuto drives that ball to center, hits it pretty well. Diaz's got room, and he runs it down and makes the catch. Matt Harvey, Jose Fernandez, still scoreless.
Fernandez ready to duel with the Mets here in the top of the 3rd. If he can win this game, he will tie a Marlins record for consecutive wins, would be 8, and that tie would be with Chris Hammond, a very good lefty in the early days of the Marlins. He had 2 stints, 93 to 96. Some notes about him. He was the leader in wins in that inaugural year with 11. First grand slam in 9 major league seasons. He hit that in 95 as a Marlin. The first one before that was Bob Forsch in 1986. Only Dontrelle Willis has hit a grand slam by a Marlins pitcher. And also he was a friend of Joe DiMaggio's. Chris Hammond had an unassuming nature. He volunteered at Joe DiMaggio's Children's Hospital, and Jody took a liking to him. They went to dinner several times, and on a picture he autographed for Hammond, he said, "Thanks for our time together. He was a pretty good lefty. He kind of reinvented himself later in his career, guys.
Yes, he did. That one into center field. Marcelo Zuna makes the catch. And Jose Fernandez has an out. And as Craig was talking about, that win streak for Jose, 7 consecutive starts, an ERA of 1.60. And in 45 innings coming into this one, 64 strikeouts. I think Jose and Joe DiMaggio would have gotten along quite well, just like Chris Hammond. Fastball strike to Harvey. This is 8-9-1 of the Mets order here in the 3rd.
I've done some work with Joe DiMaggio Hospital in the past years, and it's a phenomenal thing that those kids do. You know, they go through so much, and yet they have the greatest disposition. They're so full of joy. It's amazing, and it makes you appreciate your every day.
Jose takes care of Harvey. So first time through the order, 4 strikeouts and 1 hit. And that is strikeout number 100 this season for Jose. There's only 3 others in the National League that have hit that mark. Clayton Kershaw 109, Max Scherzer 101, and Steven Strasburg just hit 100 with his start the other day. That one line into the seats. Alejandro De Aza in the leadoff spot. Juan Lagares, sore thumb after that catch on the Ichiro ball yesterday, which was such a key. It saved 2 runs, kept the Marlins from getting a bigger lead. 0-2. And of course, Yoenis Cespedes out with a hip still. And so the bench you would expect quite short for Terry Collins on this Sunday against Jose. De Aza just can't figure that breaking ball out. It's 9-pitch inning. 2 of the out strikeouts, and Jose's got 5 already. As you would expect with Matt Harvey and Jose Fernandez. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority. The Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. So what have we learned so far here this afternoon? I think we've learned that Matt Harvey looks like the Matt Harvey of last year and of his last start, in which he went 7 scoreless against the White Sox. Little tapper, Harvey, bare hands. That's a really nice play, and he made it look easy. And that's important certainly for the Mets moving forward and for Harvey. He'd given up 16 runs in his previous 3 starts before that White Sox start.
Must be nice to have big hands. He just sticks that big paw out there, grabs it, and throws it over there to first base.
And now here's Jose. Jose is 0 for 4 against Harvey with 3 strikeouts with a smile on his face. Fastball, Jose drills it right field. Granderson there though, and he makes the catch. So 2 quick outs, and here comes Ichiro. So first time through for Matt Harvey, a hit and a strikeout, and the best ball off the bat was Ichiro's. His line drive out to right field. And Harvey looks very comfortable, very composed. He is pounding the strike zone, getting early outs and bad contact. Ichiro with that's as big a swing as Ichiro has right there. He really tried to turn on that baseball. Got a fastball in, and Harvey, that's a 7-pitch inning. They are trading zeros right now, are Jose Fernandez and Matt Harvey. Mets and the Marlins. Toyota inside look. 2 meetings. 4 no decisions. Remember that epic 20-inning game at Citi Field, in which, as I remember, I think there were 4 quality starts in that from the 2 starters and then 2 guys out of the bullpen. So they haven't run into each other that much. And as we pointed out, Jose, before that start early in the season, had not seen the Mets since 2013.
Rich, you know, I remember that 20-inning game because I was the sideline reporter that game.
That's right.
And I was sitting down there in that photo well in City Park, and it's all that bright aluminum color, and I felt like a convenience store hot dog. Just roasting on that stuff that whole game. Yes. And that was before I was into it enough that I knew that I could ask someone to go get me some water throughout the whole broadcast. So I was down there just roasting.
The reason I said 4 quality starts, Jose went 6 innings in that 20-inning game. And the last 7 innings were pitched by Kevin Slowey. And they were 7 shutout innings. He gave up just 8 hits. That's a quality start. And Jose a run in 6 innings. Harvey would go 7 innings and give up just 1 run and struck out 6. Sean Markham for the Mets, he went 8 innings and he gave up 1 run. Asdrubal Cabrera goes down, and Jose all of a sudden struck out 3 straight and 6 total in the ball game.
That ball's got some nasty bite, just diving down in the strike zone. Filthy.
The Mets lineup is stacked with left-handed bats and some switch hitters as well, with Cabrera and Walker. And it doesn't seem to make a difference right now. Granderson doubled back in the first. Jose is so deadly against right-handed hitters. His strikeout rate against righties is the best in baseball. 44% of the right-handed hitters he faces, he strikes out. The major league average is 20%. But right now, the lefty bats and the switch hitters are going down rapidly.
Well, that pitch that he threw right there, the changeup, that's the pitch he's trying to get more of a feel for against the lefty, so he doesn't have to throw as many sliders. You know, when you're a guy like Jose Fernandez who's thinking about extending outings, thinking about taking some of that stress off your arms, the fewer sliders or curveballs that you throw, the better off you are, just because there's extra stress. The changeup is a grip pitch. You don't have to manipulate the ball, and that will help him out.
Got him. Backdoor breaking ball, catches the corner. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts. 7 total. And Jose's pitch count, not that high, sitting in the 50s with 2 outs here in the 4th.
Well, Granderson's got a good eye, but this ball breaks late and nips the outside corner, catches him looking.
Tell you the interesting thing watching, and you compared the two as far as the Bulldog, the mentality, the emotion that they show, the swagger. There isn't much swagger and there isn't much emotion. Both these guys have been surgical so far.
The swagger is internal. You know, it's that internal want to have that weight of being the ace on your shoulders.
That pitch right there is just dialed in right now.
Yeah, it's right. He can throw that pitch whenever he wants to. That's a great feeling for a pitcher. Know that you can go to that anytime and that you can throw it where you want to. He didn't want it there. He wanted to look. You can see by the reaction, but he's got a good feel for it.
Stays fastball to Neil Walker, who struck out back in the first.
Oh, you got to feel like he's doing that to set up that slider down and in, just to change the eyesight of the hitter, make him look on the outside part of the plate, and then throw that nasty down and in.
Breaking ball, Walker shoots it the other way. And it's a foul ball.
Well, he wanted it, but he didn't finish it. He didn't get out in front of it and finish it off and snap it off down in the bottom of the zone. That's exactly what he was working for. Threw the fastball away, wanted to bury that slider down and in, but didn't quite get it there. There it is.
Slider, and he got him. 8 in the ball game. 5 in a row. Jose Fernandez and Matt Harvey, the duel continues. Miami Marlins baseball, Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. By Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. Bark at the Park. Look at that. I love the GoPro on the. Actually, is that one of ours?
It's a good-looking dog.
I think that's one of the enhancements we have here on Sunday.
I like it.
Is one of our GoPros on one of the Bark at the Park dogs. Martin Prado at the plate against Matt Harvey. Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna for Miami in the bottom of the 4th. Harvey and Jose, and it's lived up to it. Both teams have just one hit. Harvey's pitch count, look at that, minuscule 41 right now. One and two. That Mets rotation that took New York to the East title, took them to the World Series. That one just missed. If it did, that Mets rotation would be taking their act to Pittsburgh, and it was out against Prado. Steven Matz, Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard get the start. And a 3-gamer in Pittsburgh. And of course, the Marlins are headed to Minnesota. Minnesota to see the Twins. Travel day tomorrow. Kind of an odd road trip that starts in Minnesota and then ends up in Arizona and finishes in San Diego. Prado, a weak ground ball to the right side. And Matt Harvey's been getting a lot of that. Bad contact. Preston, here you go. Just so you have an idea of what to pack. Tuesday through Thursday, Joe Mauer and the Twins will be waiting. Uh-oh. Snakes in the desert Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it's Petco. Nice. Matt Kemp and the Padres, fish tacos, all of that. As the Marlins for 3 in San Diego after 3 in Arizona and 3 in Minnesota.
So I should pack fishing gear for the Great Lakes, all the 10,000 lakes. I should pack surf shorts for San Diego and snake-proof boots for Arizona.
Yes.
And hiking boots. All right. Okay. Good.
Yelich fights off a fastball, pops it shallow left. Conforto, it's a foul ball.
It's good to know, Rich.
I would also, you never know what you're going to get in Minnesota.
Right.
The last time the Marlins were there, they were snowed out of a game. But I don't think that's going to happen. Arizona is going to be about 105 to 110.
Okay.
Just make sure you have thick shoes so when you walk across the street to get lunch, your feet don't burn on the pavement.
See, that's a veteran call right there, Rich. Got to remember that.
And in San Diego, Marlins stay right next to the ballpark, so just bring some money for fish tacos.
Nice.
Harvey misses up, and it's 2-1 to Yelich, who flied to left. Miami's only hit a Derek Dietrich soft line drive to right center. Matt Harvey's been missing barrels quite well in this one. Yes, Craig Minervini will be making his way up there with trepidation to visit all the dogs that bark at the park. 3-1 coming. Yelich pops that one behind the bag at second, and Cabrera is there. And Harvey just keeps getting Bad swings, bad contact. That's an indication of the type of stuff that he's got right now. Group networking. Choose from a variety of meeting spaces, plus hospitality, entertainment, and catering packages. Call the Marlins Group sales team 1-877-MARLINS or marlins.com/groups. Ozuna fouls one up into the dogs. They don't get many foul balls up there, Preston.
No, they don't. You don't see many go up there at all.
You just hope the retrievers don't go after him. You see all the dogs pretty excited about that. That's a big moment up there. That and snack time. Ball and a strike. Another one fouled back. This one misses the dogs. It's 1-2. Check swing, no swing. Two and two. And it misses out. If you're following along electronically and you're watching the box score of this game and you're looking at the lines and you see Jose with his 8 strikeouts and Harvey with just the 1. Make no mistake, this is a really even duel. Doesn't even look like Harvey is looking for strikeouts. He's just hunting for early contact, and he's been successful at doing it, and he's had very good command. Pitch number 57 coming up, and before that, Rene Rivera is on his way out. We've talked about the Mets trying to survive the loss of David Wright, survive the loss of Lucas Duda. Remember, Terry Collins is without d'Arnaud behind the plate as well. Three-two. Fastball, Ozuna gets into it to left. Conforto is there and makes the catch. Matt Harvey, Jose Fernandez. This is fun to watch. Geico presents this date in Major League Baseball history. Chipper Jones joins Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray. Fastball is a strike. As the only switch hitting members of the 400 home run club. Only 3 guys in there. Chipper, Liner, Ichiro, and he got it. How about that? Ichiro, who had that terrific game defensively against the Pirates, got a jump and at the last minute got the glove up.
Well, Ichiro is a testament to the fact that you can get hot on defense just like you can get hot on offense. Right now, he's getting great reads. His first step is always right. He's playing some great defense. Runs that one down on the track.
Here is Loney. If you follow the Marlins, you know that Jose Fernandez, whether he's starting or whether he's not, will talk to everybody in the dugout for as long as that person can take it. Down the line, Yelich in full flight and lands just shy of the wall. And so Jose oftentimes is looking for, you know, a fresh victim, right? Barry Bonds in spring training, Jose would not leave Bonds alone during the games, and they still have a great relationship. But Ichiro as well is a guy that Jose likes to talk to. 0-2. Oh, back foot breaking ball. That's 9 strikeouts for Fernandez.
This ball's got some serious spin on it. It just disappears. Loney goes back to the dugout with his tail between his legs going, you know what, guys? That's pretty nasty.
Jose's career high in strikeouts is 14. And he's done it twice. No swing. Wilmer Flores with the count 1-1. So he's at 9. And he has struck out 6 of the last 7 he's faced. Wilmer Flores. Yelich under it. Makes the catch. Jose Fernandez. Matt Harvey. What a pair.
park. It is bark at the park. I think it's the biggest one I've seen at a Marlins game. They are covered from the end section all the way to almost behind home plate. Good Marlins fan. First bark at the park?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your dog's name is right over here.
Jake.
Jake with the piercing eyes. Not only do you raise money today, but look at this. You got a souvenir.
Right. First foul ball ever. And he caught it, dropped his beer, and caught it with his front paws.
Great job by Jake. This is Rufus over here, guys. Rufus is a veteran with the old Marlins uniform on, right?
He's a good dog. This is brother Twigs up here.
That's Twigs up there. Nice to see. And then over here, we had Chumley is a little bit. Here's Chumley. This is my dog here. And he's a good fan, but doesn't like the camera that much. How you doing, Chum? Has he been behaving, Spencer?
One of the best dogs. You know, he really enjoys baseball and hockey games, but his favorite team is the Marlins, and his favorite player is Yelich.
Okay, there he is. Hey, now coming up, Rich and Preston, because I know you're waiting for it. Look at these dogs over here. We're going to meet Lemon and Chester, I think his name is. We'll see if they're friendlier. Take it away.
Blaylock with her dogs. Of course, last year, if you weren't with us, when Lemon met Craig, snarled and looked like he was ready to go right after Craig's throat. So the rematch is coming up. Derek Dietrich up against Matt Harvey, who just keeps mowing down Marlins. He's retired 8 straight. Dietrich fouls it off. Dietrich single back in the second. That, for Miami, the only hit and the only base runner against Matt Harvey. Just out. Harvey wanted that. Rivera held it for a while. It's just out. The pitch count between these two is just about caught up. Fernandez at 69 pitches, Harvey at 62.
Well,
balls, 2 strikes.
It's nice to watch Jose pitch and going into the 6th inning, have him at less than 70 pitches. And we're not already talking about how long of a leash he might have with Don Mattingly. He's just competing. The pitch count is low, and he is absolutely throwing strikes consistently and getting after his hitters.
Harvey, on the other hand, has been able to get outs early in at bats.
Well, 7 outs today with 3 pitches or less. That's efficient.
What did Dietrich hit here? Foot?
Well, let's see it come off the bat. Oh, front kneecap. Oh.
It's not easy to do, is it? 2-2 coming now. Change up, driven to right. It's deep. Granderson back at the wall. Off the wall. Dietrich on his way to second. Pulls in with a double. Derek Dietrich came very close to giving Miami a 1-0 lead.
Gets a changeup up in the zone and absolutely lays into it. Gets it over Curtis Granderson's head. Granderson does a good job staying back, not getting sucked in too far to the wall. Plays it well and actually causes Dietrich to pull up because Dietrich thought he was going to grab it barehanded.
I think Dietrich thought it may have gone out too. As he rounded first, he was kind of looking while hustling to second as if maybe that ball had left, but it did not. And here's Real Muto. First real opportunity for Miami. First runner at second base against Harvey. Real Muto flied to center back in the second. Now, if you're Harvey, you have the luxury here of pitching against 7, 8, 9 with a runner at second. So first base is open. You've got Echeverria and then Jose. I don't think he's pitching around Real Muto, though. Fastball, ground ball, base hit center field. Here comes Dietrich. He will score. Miami's on the board first. It's been an outstanding year for JT Real Muto, and he adds to it with an RBI single.
Oh, that's just a good swing, staying through the middle of the field. Harvey has gotten a few balls up lately. That changeup that Dietrich hit was up. This ball stopped high in the middle of the zone. Dietrich does Real Muto does a good job staying out of tap mode, picking up a big RBI, getting the fish on the board.
Echeverria now. Harvey misses low. Echeverria bounced back to the mound in the third. So Derek Dietrich has 2 of the 3 hits. Real Muto, the RBI single. And the Marlins have been able to get to Harvey here in the bottom of the 5th. Jose Fernandez is on deck. The first run that Harvey's given up in his last 2 starts.
A good way to evaluate a pitcher, how he's pitching in the zone, is fly balls to ground balls. He's faced 16 batters. Of just the outs, not counting the base hits, but just the outs, 8 of them have been fly ball outs, whether they've been pop-up or fly balls to the outfield. That means he's more in the top of the zone than Matt Harvey would like to be right now.
Echeverria shoots one right side. Out there, the turn by Cabrera. Safe at first. Mets get an out. Marlins inning continues, and it will turn the lineup over, and it gets Fernandez to the plate here in the 5th.
Yeah, good job of hustling down there by Edge. Get that lineup turned over. No, I think you were absolutely right, Rich, about that Real Muto at bat. Harvey couldn't pitch around him because it's that 7 slot. You still have Echeverria behind him. If it was the 8 slot, I think you definitely would have seen him do what Jose did in that first inning. Pitch around Real Muto, and then you got to force play and be able to work it that way.
Fernandez hit a loud fly ball out to right. That was back in the 3rd. And the one thing you don't want to have happen if you're Echeverria is get picked off here with the pitcher at the plate and force Fernandez to lead off when the Marlins come up in the 6th.
No, actually, yeah, some guys, coaches will tell them, get a half a step less.
Jose, a little dribbler up the line. Harvey fires it in time to get the outs. But Miami is on the board. Another hit from Derek Dietrich, and he's knocked in by JT Real Muto. I mean, nothing makes a dog look tougher than when he's all tatted up.
Yes, it's one thing for a guy to have a tattoo and a guy to have a dog. When the guy's dog has a tattoo, that's when it's real, Rich.
AT&T high-speed replay. And this is what you've missed if you've just tuned in from Jose Fernandez. 9 strikeouts, and so far 5 shutout innings.
Well, if you missed it, don't worry. The Mets missed it, too, because they can't sniff that down and in slider that Jose Fernandez is throwing right now.
So the Marlins have a run. There's the line of strikeouts. Jose's career high is 14. He's sitting at 69 pitches right now with nary a stressful inning. Since he gave up the Granderson double back in the first. He's retired 13 straight. Echeverria has it on to first in time. And Rene Rivera, 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll go a little further than a strikeout, trying to push Jose towards that 8th inning. Marlins Live Tuesday in studio. Craig will be manning the mothership there. Interleague baseball, yes, Twins and Marlins. And by the way, in that Twins series, see Adam Conley gets the start in game 1. Wei-Yin Chen starts in game 2. His opponent, Ricky Nolasco. Our old friend, Ricky Nolasco. You talk about a guy that can spin the baseball with that great curveball of his. Irvin Santana, Tom Kohler finish off that series on Thursday night. Harvey's up right now. The count's 0-2. Harvey, the lines one foul. Harvey is a hitter. A career 129 average. And Jose picks up strikeout number 10. Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Coors Light. Team records in their starts. Marlins are 39-19 when Jose starts. See the Mets 37-39 and Harvey starts.
I have to admit, I'm a little bit surprised at that. I would not have guessed that the Mets are under 500 when Harvey pitches.
There's a bunt. Real Muto can't get it. De Aza is aboard. And what probably will be a base hit. It is. Real Muto with De Aza's speed had to be absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that's a great bunt. Real Muto just missed it, like he peeked up just a little bit before he got the ball. And it caused him to miss it. So you see his head leave it just at the end. He's getting ready to pick up, and his head looks towards the runner. Got to pick it up first before you can do anything.
That brings up Asdrubal Cabrera now, who's bounced out and struck out.
You know, and that's what the Mets were looking for. They were looking for some type of spark, some way to get some action on the bases.
That one fouled at the plate. And of course, the Met fans, who are here in number and in great spirit as well, especially coming off last year. Met fans starting to get stirred up a little bit. A really nice crowd here on a Sunday. That whole upper deck on the first side with lots of fans and lots of dogs and bark at the park. Good group out in the bleachers in right field. And that second deck, the home run porch. Dogs all upstairs. Oh, 2. Alejandro Diaz is at first. Jose Fernandez trying to shut down New York here in the 6th. As Dribble Cabrera has added pop to the Mets lineup. Wanted to check his bat, make sure it was not broken.
Spent the bulk of his years in Cleveland. Marlins got to see him last year in D.C. Played for the Nationals. Showed some power for them. One of those rarities in baseball, power hitting middle infielder that you can hit in the middle of your lineup.
Yeah, 8 years in Cleveland. A swing and a miss. That's 11. Mom likes it. Jose Fernandez, Matt Harvey still dueling. And Miami has a 1-0 lead. Is the presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. That's just to wake you up. Here's Ichiro. And he takes fastball for a strike from Matt Harvey. Martin Prado, Christian Yelich will follow. Top of the order. Ichiro is lined out and popped out. Fouls that one off. Harvey's out in front, 0-2. Harvey has been very economical in this one. 5 innings, 3 hits, a run, just 1 strikeout. Not a lot of deep counts against Harvey. And his pitch count shows that. He's just at 75.
Well, there's a maturation process that goes on, and you have to realize that being in the top or at the top of that strikeout column is great, but being able to be in the game longer for your team is even better. That's your job, to be out on that mound longer than that guy who's starting against you. And Harvey's found a way to do it by being more efficient.
Ichiro just got a piece of that, and that's quite honestly what the Marlins have tried to impart on Jose, and it started in spring training with Juan Nieves, Jim Benedict, trying to tell Jose, hey, look, you don't need to go max effort all out all the time and be successful. Harvey up to get it. Ichiro, an 0 for 3. And a quick out here in the 6th. All-Star voting. Well, of course, the All-Star game is coming here in 2017. This year it's in San Diego, and you can vote for your favorite Marlins, your favorite All-Stars at marlins.com. The Esurance MLB All-Star ballot. You can vote up to 35 times through June 30th. Prado. Martin Prado has bounced out to 3rd and to 2nd. The Mets last year in their race to the East title and then to the World Series had their best ERA since 1990. Team ERA was 3.43, and obviously Harvey was a big part of that. His ERA was a very nice 2.71. High fastball. Harvey gets a strikeout, 2nd. And there's 2 down. But as we've noted, this is for now, a different Mets team in how they're winning games. They're doing it with the home run and an ERA much higher than they're accustomed to. Here's Yelich. Yelich is 0 for 2.
Well, Rich, part of that pitching staff from 1990 is in the booth right next to us. In the glasses there, Ron Darling in the darker frames was a part of that World Series winning team in '86. Pitched there in New York for a while. Had one of the great two-seamers.
Yelich cracks one into right field.
Great command.
Now, you know, the similarities between that era and this team is the home runs. Remember, we were talking in the early part of this series of how that team, the 88, 89, and 90 team, led the National League in home runs, and Terry Collins' bunch this year was 76 home runs.
They pitched well, they played good defense, and they had power.
Ozuna's bounced out, lined out. Yelich is 1 for 3. If this Mets rotation stays healthy, you got to think that by the end of September, if Matz and DeGrom and Syndergaard, obviously Matt Harvey, they'll get Zach Wheeler back, it looks like, in July. Bartolo Colon. If all those guys are relatively healthy, you got to think the Mets are going to be there again.
And I think for a little while everyone was talking about that national staff and how deep they were. I think now the conversation has shifted to New York. As a complete staff, these guys have the potential, because of their relative age, they're also young. These guys have the potential to be good for a very long time. And you got your DeGrom there. You got Syndergaard, who I think actually should start an 80s hairband with a, you know, DeGrom and Thor or something like that.
Ozuna, a high pop. And Granderson gives chase, and it's out of reach. So the Mets are doing it with an outstanding rotation. The back of the bullpen's been really good. Addison Reed. And then, of course, Juris Familia.
And they're getting big time contributions, a lot of innings from Henderson. Blevins has done well for them. You know, they've shored up their pitching staff, and you got to try to score runs against this team any way you can.
With that in mind, let's see if Yelich is moving on an 0-2. Rivera, though, a very good catch and throw guy behind the plate. Not running. Ozuna fouls it off.
When a team is that deep, it forces you as a manager to try to create things at times. Maybe do a little bit more hit and run, try to get you a first or third situation. Sack bunt a little bit more than you normally would against other teams. They just don't give up a whole lot. They got great stuff. They got great velocity. A few of them have tremendous command to go with the velocity and stuff. So you have to be a little bit creative.
Mets ERA third best in the National League. We had 3.17 coming in. Ozuna, a slow roller out to second. Walker on to first, and Matt Harvey through 6. Jose Fernandez, Harvey still going at it. It's 1-0 Miami.
Spark at the park. Now it is also time for a truce between this fine young man or young lady, Lemon. She's much friendlier this year. Look at that.
Well, I don't think she's going to be really friendly now that you called her a man instead of a woman.
I should have known by the outfit, but seriously, the dog is much better behaved. Let's see if she's, last year she was growling.
You should definitely try and pet her.
I don't know if that's a good idea. Now let's see.
Wow.
See? You see that, Rich? We've become friends. I actually got a lick from Lemon. That's nice to see.
Oh, I'm glad you guys are made up.
She has matured.
Meanwhile, did you bring her a snack, though, a treat?
I did. I do have a treat here somewhere, yes. And meanwhile, in between the innings, my dog's tail was like a baseball bat with both of these dogs. So they have recovered. Good to see. Hey, a lot of fun here. We'll give you the numbers later. Great ball game. Let's get back to you.
All right. Nice to see that Lemon is in a good mood. Curtis Granderson, Neil Walker, Michael Conforto, 7th inning. Jose Fernandez. The count 1-2. Granderson double back in the first. That and an Alejandro De Aza bunt single. That's it for the Mets. That would be number 12. Jose is 2 away from a career high. Down goes Granderson.
Well, you can tell the rotation is so tight, they're having a hard time picking it up because they're not taking it and they can't hit it.
So a dozen strikeouts. Fernandez pitch count at 85. And a fastball strike to Neil Walker. Walker has struck out twice. That one lined foul.
I'm reminded of one of my hitting coaches. I was having a little trouble with the slider at one point, and he told me, he said, Press, they're not going to stop throwing it. So you either got to learn how to hit it or learn how to take it.
First 4 hitters in the Mets order: De Aza, Asdrubal Cabrera, Granderson, Neil Walker. All 4 have struck out at least twice against Jose. The only Mets who have not struck out in the ballgame are further down in the order: Wilmer Flores and Rene Rivera. Wow. 0-2. Why is that slider so tough on a left-handed bat?
Well, if the rotation is tight, you have trouble differentiating it from a fastball. So it looks like a fastball, and then at the last second you pick up the spin, and then you have to try to account for the break. If it has a loose spin on it, you see a bigger dot, and you could recognize it as a slider earlier. But his rotation's so tight that the blur looks like a fastball until it's almost right on top of you.
Jose, throughout the day, and there is humidity inside here, it's been blowing on that hand. The 1-2. I think if you're the Mets, one of the objectives in this inning, and Walker's doing a nice job of it, is just get the pitch count up and get Fernandez out of there. There's one of those changeups you were asking for.
Yeah, and he's got to keep throwing it. It's good that he got it off the plate. The more he gets a feel for it, he's going to be able to start that ball on the plate and have it fade off the plate to get those swing and misses.
Got him. 13 strikeouts. His abuela here today. She's enjoying the ride.
That's missing the ball by a lot. These are big league hitters. Neil Walker's one of their better hitters, and he missed that ball by a good foot.
Now Conforto, who is lined out and struck out. Fernandez has thrown 93. Harvey has thrown 90. Miami has the only run. Conforto to right, and that's a base hit. Ichiro's got it. 2-out single here in the 7th. And the Mets have a runner. Here comes James Loney. T-Mobile brings you greater coverage of baseball. Yesterday, a busy day. The trade of James Shields. Good work by the art department to get the White Sox uniform and cap on him right away. From San Diego to the White Sox. Steven Strasburg, first national pitcher to get to 1,000 strikeouts. He's now at an even 100 on the season. And Tyler White had the old park his car in center field trick played on the rookie. Come out for batting practice, and there's your SUV sitting in center field.
To illustrate how good Jose's been, he's only given up 3 hits today. All 3 of those hits have come with 2 outs.
Loney finds right field. That's into right. And the Mets are going to have runners at the corners here with 2 outs for a Wilmer Flores at bat. James Loney just continues to hurt Miami in this series. 6 hits in the 3 games.
Yeah, he swung the bat well. He looks nice and relaxed. Sometimes when guys come up from the minor leagues and they get a chance with a team, they try to overdo things. They end up looking tight. He looks nice and relaxed. He looks under control.
Long mound visit here. Juan Nieves with just 3 seconds left on the clock. Turned and left the mound. We haven't talked about that much all year, right? The clock in center field for mound visits.
Well, there are a lot of things that have kind of that were the idea at the beginning.
Well, just the presence of the clock has sped everybody up.
Right.
When they go out for the mound visit. There it is, under there. So, this would be the first stressful inning. Flores is 0 for 2. He's popped to short, fly to left. Slider strike. If you followed this series, Wilmer Flores has been a major pain in the neck for Miami. 5 hits, a couple walks. Real Muto out in front of the plate just in case the Mets decide to run. That right side is wide open with Bohr by the bag. Ball and a strike.
I think Wilmer's going to see a lot of sliders. I think if Jose throws the fastball, he's going to want to try to expand it up in the zone, try to let that velocity play in the top of the zone, and then bury the slider.
1-1. 1-2. Strikeouts, 1 shy of a career high. Got him! Jose Fernandez has struck out 14 Mets, and Miami leads it 1-0. Came off 1-0 Miami, 7th inning stretch time here at Marlins Park. Bark at the park. Plenty of pets and their owners are watching as well. And you got the sense from the reception that Jose got in the dugout that that is it for him, and that his day will end at 100 pitches, 14 strikeouts, no walks.
Well, impressively for Jose, in 4 of his last 6 outings now, he's allowed 1 walk or less. And that's why you saw him get deep into the game again today.
Jose still trying to lobby, it looks like, with Don Mattingly. All-time strikeouts in the game. We told you we're going to see Ricky Nolasco on Wednesday when the Marlins are up in Minnesota to take on the Twins. It's the 3rd time Jose's been at 14 strikeouts. Jump on the Marlins Express. Bring your group to a game in style. It provides round-trip transportation to Marlins Park in a 30 or 50-person motor coach starting at just $40 a person. 1-877-MARLINS or email groups@marlins.com. $100 pitches, 14 strikeouts. Always so special with his mother and his grandmother here. His mother, of course, escaped from Cuba with him in the boat. And there she is in the white jacket. She, of course, fell overboard. Jose dove in and rescued her, not knowing it was his mom. He just knew that someone was overboard. And, of course, his grandmother was still in Cuba. And his grandmother, when Jose would pitch back in 2013, she would climb to the roof of her house because that's how she could get radio reception from Miami to listen to the games in Spanish and hear her grandson pitch. So, I mean, you think about it, what goes through Jose's mind as he's walking off the diamond there? The place is going nuts. And he looks up, and there's his mom, who escaped with him. Deep and in the corner. Conforto reaches, and he's got it. And then his grandmother, who I'm sure when he escaped didn't know if he would ever see her again. And now here she is.
It's got to be really heartwarming to know that there was that type of ordeal that they all went through, and they're out on the other side of it now. He's enjoying success. He gets to share that success with them. It's got to be a nice feeling.
Harvey's breaking ball misses up to Derek Dietrich. Matt Harvey has been outstanding in this start, and this is the guy that has given him the most problems. Dietrich singled in the 2nd, doubled in the 5th, and then scored on JT Realmuto's RBI single, and that's it for the scoring in this ballgame. And so Jose done at 100. The Mets bullpen has been active twice, and you expect this is the last for Harvey. And he's about to hit 100.
Well, 2-0. It's got to be looking for that cookie here. Get you something to drive.
Harvey got it in enough that it tied Dietrich up. Count 2-1. Another big swing, another high fastball. David Phelps going to try to get back up on the horse because yesterday was not fun for him.
Yeah, you're not going to hit letter high 96. That's just not going to happen.
He's gone back there 3 straight times, and why not?
The only person I've seen hit that pitch is Vladimir Guerrero. It's the only guy I've ever seen hit that pitch.
For me, Edgar Martinez. And Edgar could keep it fair.
Yeah, he kept his hands inside tremendously well.
2-2. And Dietrich chases. Harvey has strikeout number 3.
Well, at first I thought that was a changeup, but that might have been a slider that he just really got on top of and just buries it right at the back of the plate. Wow, that's some serious downward action.
The attendance has just been announced. A good Sunday crowd, 28,196. And there are 927 dogs in attendance for Bark at the Park, and that's an all-time record. And I will say this, we run into Bark at the Parks in a lot of ballparks across the country, and the Marlins Bark at the Park is one of the better attended by the pets than we see. In the air, center field. Diaza's there. Matt Harvey with 7 outstanding innings. But right now, he trails Jose and the family by a run. Marlins on top of the Mets. Bark at the Park. A Mets jersey. Look at that.
Yeah, that's Amanda Richter. She's one of our edit people, video people from the studio. Worked with her a lot. She does a lot of work for the Heat.
And no doubt, Preston, she has the all-new Fox Sports app. And she gets highlights, interviews, injury updates, scores, and instant alerts. I think she downloaded it on the App Store, or maybe Google Play. Maybe she visited foxsports.com/app. Marlins make 2 defensive moves here. Chris Johnson at first base. Miguel Rojas at second. David Phelps. So, if you're Phelps, you're trying to turn the page from yesterday when he came into the ballgame with the lead and promptly lost it. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits, a Loney double, a Conforto RBI single, and Matt Reynolds with a pinch hit RBI single.
Well, he may see Reynolds again. It looks like Cespedes is on the on-deck circle.
It's Rene Rivera. Cespedes is on deck. And then Diaza, the leadoff hitter. And so here goes after 7 brilliant innings of Jose Fernandez. 14 strikeouts and no walks. And Phelps misses up.
Yeah, Phelps just had trouble commanding the fastball yesterday. It was really cutting towards that first base side on him a lot. And he just couldn't quite stay in the strike zone as much as he would have liked to.
Rivera, who hit a solo homer on Friday, and the Mets come from behind win.
And that had more of a true straight path than the ball he was throwing yesterday. It was really running a lot.
Ooh.
Oh, I'd like to see that on Fox Tracks. That got a good bit of the strike zone.
Yeah, and plenty of the knees.
Yeah, we haven't seen too many opportunities for the pitcher or the batters to, kind of yelp a little bit or growl at the umpire. But right there, Phelps has got a gripe.
Popped up. Count 2-2. We said from the outset the Marlins have to figure out a way to reverse the script. Marlins take the lead on Friday and on Saturday into the late innings. The Mets would catch them and beat them. Prado throws out Rivera. MLB.com @bat app. Stay up to the moment with game day. You get live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat, #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablets. Well, the question about Yoenis Cespedes today was, would he be available to pinch hit? Here's your answer. Here he is. Pinch a penny. Presents Cespedes.
Well, some people who watch baseball may wonder, well, why is Cespedes pinch hitting if there's nobody on or nobody in scoring position? Well, for Cespedes, he's in scoring position. When he steps in the box, he's in scoring position. So even though there's not a runner on base, this is still a good time for Terry Collins to use him, because this guy's instant offense. One swing of the bat, it could be a tie ball game.
Boy, and the Mets have done quite well with that philosophy this year. That's a home run swing. And the count is 0-2. The Mets have blasted more homers than anybody in the National League. '76 home runs. 0-2 coming. In the air to right, Ichiro wanders in, now over, and makes the catch. Two outs, and here is De Aza. Alejandro De Aza. A bunt single and a pair of strikeouts. So Cespedes has pinch hit. Juan Lagares not in the lineup today as well with his sore thumb. We don't know his availability for the ball game, although he did get a hit after the catch yesterday that injured the thumb.
Like we've said before, Rich, sometimes when you have an injury, at the time of the injury and shortly after, you still got some adrenaline flowing. You don't feel it as much. After your body's had time to calm down, that's when that pain and discomfort really starts to kick in. The swelling increases.
Phelps out front now, 1-2, 96 with that fastball. The jump in velocity for Phelps with the shortened appearances. To right, Ichiro got it. A 1-2-3-8 for David Phelps. Miami looks for some insurance in a 1-0 game. Yeah, there he is. He brightens up every Sunday here at Marlins Park with his balloon figures. I think Jeff Conine is going down there to get a balloon animal made momentarily.
Niner can't get enough Tutti Frutti.
Antonio Bastardo is in for the Mets. Bastardo now with 22 appearances. And in this duel of Jose and Harvey, Harvey goes 7, just like Jose. Gives up 4 hits, just like Jose. But the day's very different after that on the line. Jose struck out 14. Echeverria, a bunt, and he is out. Loney, terrific play. Got there, got the glove up, and got a piece of Echeverria.
Ball bunted just a tad hard, but still a good bunt and a great play by Loney. He's just so quick over there. You saw him break in before the ball even hit the bat. He's good around that bag over there. He's so quick on this. Watch this. He's moving forward before the ball even hits the bat. You see that? He reads that bunt, starting to come in. That's how that play is made.
Johnson, his first at bat. And Bastardo throws a strike. A.J. Ramos in Miami's bullpen. Jose struck out 14. Matt Harvey struck out 3. Harvey, though, in his own way, very efficient and very effective. Not a lot of balls hit hard by the Marlins. He didn't walk anybody. And of course, the Marlins got that 1 run on a JT Realmuto RBI single.
I mean, their games are almost mirror images. If you take out the strikeouts and just say outs or easy outs, these are very similarly pitched games between Harvey and Jose Fernandez.
Johnson strikes out.
Both of them only once allowed back-to-back hits. The difference in that scenario, when Jose did it, there were already 2 outs. And when Harvey did it, it was only 1 out, but that first hit was an extra base hit.
Now Ichiro, who was 0 for 3. For bookkeeping purposes, David Phelps, the pitcher spot, is currently 5th in Miami's lineup, and Miguel Rojas is 6th. Rojas came in straight up for Dietrich. Johnson in the 9 spot. He just hit. Ichiro looking for a hit. Ball and a strike. We showed you last night Ichiro's career splits better against lefties than righties. Of course, he's over 300 against righties, so it's not like he's suffered against righties, but he's always hit lefties very, very well.
He's such a student of the game, and he's always trying to pick up tendencies, trying to pick up some little edge about the guy that he's facing.
Bastardo, a fastball. Ichiro up the middle. Cabrera, and Ichiro beats it.
Oh, Rich, those clickers are clicking already. One more closer to 3,000 is Ichiro.
Cabrera, not known for great range, got to it and made a one-hop throw, but for Ichiro, 2,966. Sam Rice is still a ways away, but it's amazing to think that now that number will read 34. Very low-tech hit counter.
That's the analog version, Rich.
I don't think you can still get those in stores. Prado's up. Ichiro's at first. Bastardo. Ichiro runs, throws to first, got him picked. High throw and a hard slide. Ichiro collides with the shortstop Cabrera. But Bastardo picks Ichiro off. The Marlins are done in the 8th.
And if you ask why Ichiro was doing that, trying to hit the throw hit him.
at second. And that brings on the ninth. Marlins Live coming up. Greg Minervini and Jeff Conine, a recap of Jose's start. 14 strikeouts, 7 innings, no walks. It'll be a much happier Marlins Live if A.J. Ramos can hold this lead. And he's got the best that the Mets have in their lineup. As Drupal Cabrera, Curtis Granderson, Neil Walker, and if anybody reaches, Michael Conforto, James Loney. So Ramos is going to have to battle the same side of the plate that Fernandez had to, as the Mets have got the switch hitters and the lefty bats in today. First up, Cabrera, who was struck out twice, 0 for 3. Breaking ball, strike. '17 saves, tied for third in the big leagues with 17 is Ramos. Fastball, ground ball, foul. Ramos saved a pair of games in the Pirates series. Fly ball right, Ichiro at the track makes the catch. So there's one out. Here's Granderson. See, Jose, even though he's starting, has talked to everybody in that dugout. And now he's down to Wei-Yin Chen.
Oh yeah, everybody gets an earful.
Granderson doubled back in the first. His was the only extra base hit against Jose. Ball and a strike. Outside corner, Granderson doesn't like it, and he's voicing his displeasure without turning around, and Ramos got a break. See if he takes advantage of it. Oh, he goes out a little farther. It's 2-2. Ah, gorgeous changeup.
That's nasty. That's got nice downward movement. Good deception on it. Granderson couldn't pick up the fact whether it was a changeup or a fastball. That's a great pitch. One out to get.
Off speed, strike one. Ramos, much like the Mets jury's familia, has been perfect this year. It hasn't been easy. He's had some real rough rides. This is down low with a fastball. But to his credit, on nights where he has put runners on, and in a few cases loaded the bases, he's found a way to get through it and get around it. Marlins took 2 of 3 in New York. The Mets' first trip here, they've taken the first 2. And so a chance to even the slate. And for Don Mattingly and the Fish, a chance to have a winning homestand against the likes of the Pirates and the Mets.
Very important.
1-2 coming. In the air, center, and deep. Ozuna, back, track, got it! Ball game! 400 feet from home plate. Marcell Ozuna runs it down, and Miami takes this Sunday affair. The duel between Jose Fernandez and Matt Harvey is won by Fernandez and the Marlins. But terrific theater to watch both aces. Both were sharp tonight. Harvey gave up the 1 run in 7 innings. Fernandez 7 scoreless with 14 strikeouts and no walks. And so the Marlins and the Mets have played 6 games so far this year, and it's at 3 apiece. The Mets win this series after the Marlins took the series in New York. And a winning homestand, the Fish take 4 of 7 from the Pirates and the Mets combined. And it's off to Minnesota for this Marlin ball club. The Fish at 30-27. The Mets head to Pittsburgh. And tomorrow night open up a 3-game set against the Pirates. JT Realmuto, the RBI hit in this one, and that came after a Derek Dietrich double in the 5th inning against Harvey. And so a nice win to get in front of a crowd of close to 30,000 on a record-setting Bark at the Park day with over 900 pooches here watching. And of course, Jose ties the Marlins club record. He has won 8 consecutive starts with an ERA of less than 1.5. And in those 8 starts now, he has struck out 78.
Great stuff. Great command today. Both pitchers were sharp. Both pitchers were efficient.
And of course, for the Marlins, nice to see David Phelps get back up on the horse, and A.J. Ramos is still perfect. You see Jose saddled up next to Craig Minervini. Guys,
thank you very much, Rich. After 2 tough losses in the first 2 games of this series, how important was this win for your ball club today?
Especially for the guys. I think that for the team, that was a beautiful game today. We came on top. So we're gonna enjoy it, and hopefully it's gonna take off from now, and we're gonna go on a very nice long streak that we won and that we deserve as a team.
For A.J. Ramos, it was a relatively drama-free 3 outs there. He didn't have you sweating too much, although the last one was close. I saw A.J. react.
It was he's a great man. He's great like always, and I keep telling everybody I take him over anybody. He's my guy, and that's it. I die with him.
Let's talk about your effort today. You tie a career high of 14 strikeouts. You also tie a Marlins record. I don't even know if you're aware, 8 straight wins. Chris Hammond, way back in the early days of the Marlins, did that. That's a nice number. I know you're happy about the team win. What about pitching today? What did you feel good about?
Obviously great. JT had a really good game plan, like always. We try to not to do much, just make a pitch at a time and forget about the result. Thank God we came on top. They played great baseball. Harvey pitched the ball. He threw the ball really well. And we came on top this time, and that's all that matters.
I think it's neat, too, with Harvey coming off Tommy John a few years removed, and you, that you both can get back to this point through all the hard work that you both went through. I think you talked to him a little bit along the process, and here you two are here battling it out. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll do a lot of respect. A lot of respect, for him and for what he does and the way he throws the ball. And we came on top today, and honestly, that's all I care about, and that's all we care about as a team.
You had 20 pitches in the first inning, 16 early. I know you don't want to get wrapped up in how many pitches, but I know you want to be more economical probably in the middle to get to the end, huh?
There's different things and different ways that we go about things. And you know, that's obviously Donnie and his plan. And I'm just throwing a pitch at a time and trying to get people out. That's it.
Let's talk about the 7th inning, Jose. You strike out the first 2, and then Conforto gets a single on you, followed by Loney, and then this big at bat. Take us through pitch by pitch. The Flores bat was obviously the biggest of the game.
You know, great hitter. Got a power. He can change the game on one swing, and we knew that. And you know, with JT, I was following JT the whole way there, you know, we got lucky.
I love your emotion.
Yeah, that's man, it's just so big, you know, having, all these fans out here, and, the hit of the moment, winning by 1 run, it's just an amazing feeling. I don't get this feeling anywhere else.
You win against Pittsburgh 3-1. You take at least the Mets. You got 1, so you made it a winning homestand for your club, and maybe things are starting to click as you look at the ball club winning against some good teams.
I didn't, they did, we did. So we won.
And how much you enjoy having Mom and Grandma?
Those 2 ladies are, the love of my life, and nothing else matters when it comes for them. So, they're proud. They saw the hard work. They saw all those days, sitting at the house with the Tommy John, going crazy. They've been there and done that. So,
are you able to zone in, or do you actually think about them when you're coming off? Do you see their faces, or do you not even think about them during the game?
When I come from the hoop, and I make sure that I see them and I look at them. During the game, I'm just worried about getting people out.
Well, you did a very good job of that. Congratulations.
Today. Thank you.
He got lucky. 8 straight wins. Rich, we'll take that kind of luck, right?
Yeah, we should all be so fortunate, shouldn't we? Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Dodge, visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. 2 aces met here on a Sunday in Miami. Jose Fernandez and Matt Harvey. Both would go 7 innings. Harvey would give up 1 run and strike out 3. Jose, he'd go 7 innings, no runs, 14 strikeouts, equaling a career high, and he walked no one. And Miami beats the Mets. So it's on to Minnesota for the Fish. However, we've got this little thing called Marlins Live, and it's next.